Hey guys, how's it going? It's Calvin Rab. So if you've gone to a grocery store or supermarket lately, you've probably realized that there are a few things that are sold out and the aisles are completely empty. And those products would include things like toilet paper and masks and hand sanitizers and a lot of non-perishable goods. And in this video, I'm going to go over those four things and how you can get them, while at a lot of stores, you can't. It's impossible. So I'm first going to go over toilet paper, and then I'm going to go over hand sanitizers and those medical masks, and then I'm going to round it out with a few non-perishable goods that are usually hard to get that you can get. So I'm going to go over those four things, and by the end of this video, you'll have a pretty good idea about how to navigate this pandemic and get your hands on a few of these products that are pretty hard to come by these days. And if you're new here, my name is Calvin Rab. I make videos all about personal finance and jobs and economics. So if you're interested in anything like that, I would love it if you would subscribe. So let's kick it off with the first product, which is going to be toilet paper. And I'm going to go over 6 different ways that you can get toilet paper during this pandemic. So the first way that I want to talk about is just getting to stores early. So this may seem simple, but this is at least how me and my family have gotten toilet paper. And essentially what happens is you just have to get there when the store opens. So usually, at least the ones around here in San Diego, there's a line outside the door. Our hours have changed on our local grocery stores, but there's a line outside and they let 25 people in at once. But if you do get there early enough and you do get in line, they do restock overnight. At least that's for us here in Southern California, what I've realized. And that can be one way that you can do, because if you do wait till later in the afternoon, it's all going to be gone. So we just had to get there right when they opened, and we were able to get a few of the kind of paper products that we needed. The second way that you can buy toilet paper is online. So unfortunately, it's not as easy as just going to Amazon anymore and finding toilet paper and ordering it to your house. Because if you do that, you will realize that almost every single one is sold out. And there's no secret to doing this thing online, but your best bet is probably to find all the different websites that do have toilet paper, and you will find that the vast majority, if not all of them, are sold out, but that's okay. So what I'd recommend doing is creating something like a Google Doc and taking all the URLs of all those places where you would buy toilet paper. So maybe you found one on Target, one at Walmart's website, one at, who knows, different grocery stores have websites as well. So take the URL and maybe once or twice a day, just check back, click on those URLs and see which one is in stock, because all these different companies will restock their websites at different times, and oftentimes it is sold out pretty quickly. So you will want to check once in a while. You don't have to obsessively check every 15 minutes, but check once or twice in the day, and you're bound to eventually catch 1 or 2 stores that do have it in stock and have restocked, and you'll want to act on it pretty fast. So this all just comes down to creating that Google Doc, having all those URLs open just so you can quickly check them and access them, and it's kind of just a numbers game. Eventually you will fall upon a company that is in stock. The third way that you can find toilet paper is looking at non-traditional toilet paper. So when I was on Amazon, I kind of treated it like a game almost. I was like, what can I find for toilet paper? And once I was unable to find the traditional toilet paper, I went the non-traditional route. And you can use there's different types of toilet paper out there. The non-traditional ones I'm kind of talking about, there are things like flushable wipes and different things like that they serve the same purpose as toilet paper. They are a little bit more expensive, and I am not a toilet paper expert if you didn't know, but there are different kind of non-traditional types of toilet paper that you do want to look into, and I was able to find some that are in stock there. However, the ones that I did find, as far as flushable wipes are concerned, they were a little bit more expensive than generic toilet paper, but sometimes situations like this do call for you to spend just a little bit more to get your hands on some toilet paper. Number 4 is go to smaller grocery stores. And I don't mean this on a square footage basis, but I mean this on a company size basis. So when products like toilet paper and other grocery items are needed, a lot of people's first reaction is to go to the big companies, the big grocery stores, the Albertsons, the Vaughn's, the Safeways of the world, and they go there. But oftentimes they neglect the smaller, more mom and pop grocery stores. So My family and I, we went to a local grocery store here that is actually owned by a friend's dad of mine, so that is pretty cool. And we went there and they were pretty well stocked with toilet paper, while all the big places, the Ralphs and everyone else, was completely sold out. So I recommend checking that out. I also heard that a lot of more ethnic grocery stores that may not get a lot of foot traffic normally were pretty well stocked. So I recommend checking that out, seeing if there's any maybe either ethnic grocery stores or just smaller grocery stores that aren't part of the huge supply chain of these big companies that have an online presence and everything else under the sun. So I recommend checking those out, and you could have some luck doing that. Number 5 is just look at online blog posts. So when I was researching different ways that you can still find toilet paper, I found a lot of different blogs that were constantly updating their page to places that still sell toilet paper, or rather have it in stock, and they had links to that. So if you keep checking for different blog posts, maybe you just leave in Google that search of where can I find toilet paper, almost every few hours someone is either posting an article or updating their article with new links. And so there's a lot of people looking for these products that are out there. A lot of people have written about this and just outsource their kind of work and use their knowledge, because I did find a few blogs that would post, hey, you can still buy toilet paper here with these links. You do want to get there quickly, because I did see a lot of blog posts where all the links they provided, they were all sold out. However, if you are constantly kind of checking it a few times a day and just checking up on those links, you are bound to eventually find a website that still sells it. So checking online blog posts, and all you got to do there is just type into Google, where can I buy toilet paper, and you'll find a whole bunch of blog posts and news-related items that are still out there. The 6th way you can get toilet paper is know how much you have. So this is actually kind of funny, and I didn't even know this was a thing, but there's an online calculator that if you input how many rolls of toilet paper you have, it actually tells you how many days on average, it takes an average of how quickly people use toilet paper and how many days that can last. So if you just go and input the number of toilet paper that you have, you may have more than you expect, and you may be able to last a lot longer than you kind of originally expected. And the reason this is important is because when I was on Amazon, there were a bunch of just different toilet paper that was out there that was currently unavailable, or it would be able to ship, but it would take about a month or almost 2 months to get to my house. But if you input that you have like a 3-month supply, then you can do that. And that was a lot of the toilet paper that I found. So it would say restocked at this time, or available, but it would arrive in a month or two. And because most people didn't really prepare for this necessarily, they need it pretty quickly. So they're kind of neglecting that. But if you do have kind of enough time and enough toilet paper kind of stocked up that you can last that long, then I recommend doing that. And I think your options will be, there's a lot of toilet paper that you can get with that, and I wouldn't really worry about it then, because there were a lot of options that I saw on Amazon that shipped in about a month or two. And if you can last that long, you're good to go. So now I want to move on from toilet paper to hand sanitizer, because that's the next thing that is pretty tough to get. Really any soap-related product, but a hand sanitizer is one that I've seen that people are struggling with the most. And the best way, I think, to get your hands on hand sanitizer is actually to make it yourself. So hand sanitizer itself is not that complicated of a thing to make, and you can make it in bulk, and that will just allow you to have a lot of hand sanitizer. And the ingredients are fairly simple. So if you just go online, you'll find a whole bunch of different really recipes and instructions for creating your own hand sanitizer, and there's different types of hand sanitizer. You can add different things that may make your hands be soft or something along those lines, but pretty much all of them have a pretty common theme in that they all include some type of rubbing alcohol. Now, according to your personal preference or what you believe is best for your skin as far as kind of the percentages on these alcoholic or rubbing alcohols, you're able to include that. There's also things like aloe vera gel, which gives it kind of that consistency and is also very good for your skin as well. And then usually those are kind of the main staples. And then you're going to want to throw something in there that just makes it smell a little bit nicer, because rubbing alcohol doesn't smell that great, and aloe vera gel doesn't really smell at all. But you can throw something in there. There's different tree oils and different types of incense that you can mix into these kind of things that just make it smell nice. So this was something that I was actually wanting to do prior to this whole thing, so I was ahead of the curve, but Actually, that's probably not the right way to say that. Ahead of the times, I don't know where I'm going there. But you can make your own, and that's probably your best way to do it with that. Some of those products are hard to find. I did see that rubbing alcohol was a little tricky, although if I did a little bit deeper of a search in Amazon, I was able to find some more non-traditional, smaller brands that still had it in stock, so you can check that. And then the other thing is, see how much you do have. This is kind of like that toilet paper thing. See how much you do have, because I did find a few hand sanitizers that you could buy on Amazon. However, kind of a common theme here, it would take a month or two to ship. So if you do have a month or two supply, then you can do that. Other than that, you can make your own, and you can make it in bulk. You can buy aloe vera gel in bulk along with rubbing alcohol and then any incense, and you'll be good to go. So now moving on from hand sanitizer to medical masks, and they run under a few different names: surgical masks, medical masks, masks in general, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about here, because that is another thing that is very hard to find. And we experienced this, when I say my apartment, because a roommate of mine was trying to find a mask for his girlfriend who was flying out of the country and having to go through LAX, and he said it was just impossible. They were sold out absolutely everywhere. So I kind of want to talk about how you can kind of go about getting that. And first of all, I was reading an article the other day. I, of course, am not a medical professional, so I'm not going to give you any of my medical opinions or anything like that, but I was reading articles that talked about how much a mask actually helps when it comes to coronavirus, and I don't know, you may want to do a little bit more research on it. But I do understand that a lot of people in these times will want to wear a medical mask, and as far as how to get them if they are really tough to get, I do understand that that is an issue, but the CDC did release a statement that if you did not have these medical masks, or you cannot get kind of your hands on one, which is kind of hard to do these days, you can use either a scarf or maybe a bandana if you have one as a replacement. And I don't think it can do everything a mask can, but if it comes to that as a last resort, you can do that. So that was coming from the CDC. However, if that is not something you really want to do and you do want to find a medical mask somewhere, there are ways that you can do it. And there isn't really some secret way to get a medical mask. I recommend doing everything that I did when talking about the toilet paper, meaning you can show up early to places that may have it. You may want to see when they're restocking at places like CVS or Rite Aid or whatever is the equivalent in your area. You can do that. You can look online. Amazon has a whole bunch of them, and I just kind of learned that medical masks are in part almost a fashion statement, in that there are fashionable masks and there's a whole different types of them. And I learned that a lot of kids at my school, I go to UCLA, they wear a lot of masks there. So I learned quite a bit about it. It was kind of interesting how it played in the role of fashion and different things like that. However, getting back on track, you are able to go and find all the links and show up early to places and do everything you would for that toilet paper, and eventually you are bound to find one, or hopefully a package of some that will meet your kind of mask requirements. And however, there is no real secret to get this. Just know that if you can't get any, you can use either a scarf or a bandana as a backup. So now I want to move from masks to non-perishable goods, and these would be things like canned meals and things like canned vegetables, canned fruits, and just a lot of sometimes even frozen foods and different things like that that can last a long time. And when it comes to this, from what I've found, at least all I know is my local area, that you can still get non-perishable items. However, oftentimes the best tasting stuff and the healthiest stuff, the cleanest meals, those are the ones to go quickly. So really the only thing here is just to get to places early. I couldn't really think of doing anything better than that. You can also see if you can order stuff online, you may find some there. A lot of grocery stores are doing delivery. However, when it comes to food in grocery stores that you actually have to go out and getting there early is kind of your best option when it comes to that. However, from what I found, finding canned goods wasn't the hardest thing in the world, but getting the good stuff was. So when I got there, when I showed up, it was in the afternoon. There wasn't much, but I could get my hands on some non-perishable goods. So when it comes to this kind of thing, just really showing up early, figuring out what their hours are, and getting there when it opens, because it is important to remember that a lot of grocery stores have changed their hours during all this craziness. All right, so that will wrap it up. I went over how you can find toilet paper, how you can find hand sanitizer, how you can get your hands on maybe some of the masks, and lastly, a few non-perishable goods. Now, it is important to remember that there's no real secret to this stuff. You know, there's no magical website or anything like that. When it comes to this kind of thing, it's just kind of putting in the work and just keeping kind of on track and up to date with everything, and eventually you will be able to do it. Your hard work will pay off, and I think in time this stuff will be easier to find and figure out when these companies restock and different things like that, and it'll be all right. Now, I do have to say that that is the end of the video, and this is a video I never thought I would make, and it's kind of interesting. If you look on the rest of my channel, everything is kind of personal finance and job related, and this is way out there. However, I was researching it because I was interested in this stuff, and I thought I would make a video about it just on the off chance that I'm able to help a few people out. So if you did find this video helpful, I would love it if you would like, just so it can kind of spread a little bit easier. Share it with anyone if you think that someone may need to watch this video or just maybe curious about this kind of thing. And if you are interested in anything personal finance related or job related and kind of making money, at least online or anything like that, then feel free to subscribe. That is what the usual content matter is of this channel. However, due to the times, I think it's important for me to make a few videos related to the coronavirus. So I do have a few others that you can check out as well that are a little more centric on kind of the economic implications of this virus and kind of what it's doing to the country. But ultimately, or not the country, but the world at large. This is a global thing. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And lastly, my name is Calvin Rabb. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. And as always, my name is Calvin Rabb. I've said that a couple times, but thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Congratulations. So I'm gonna move to the corner of your screen here. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, you are going to see my most recent video. And if you look in the lower left-hand corner, you're going to see a video that YouTube and I each think that you would like. And if you haven't yet, you can hit my face right here and subscribe. As always, my name is Calvin Rabb, and I'll see you soon.